Hey traders, weekend video, first one of the year. So I'm going to start with the most important chart and trying to tie it with what's going on in the global geopolitical space. And so basically what we got going on here, we have the dollar at a very critical support area here going to kick off 2026. And we have been told before Trump even got in office, he wants a weak dollar. He believes firmly in a weak dollar versus global currencies. And one of those, his idea is you have to have a weak dollar to be competitive on exports. And he's totally, I agree with that theory that you cannot have a healthy export economy with a strong currency. And he is doing everything in his power to drive it down with government spending and the like. And so, we're right here at critical support, threatening a breakdown probably early on in January. We're going to be breaking a critical trend here on the dollar. So be very mindful of that going forward here. This ties in with, in my opinion, with some of this, geopolitical issue going with Venezuela. And so basically, when you drive down the currency, commodities get more expensive. So by going into Venezuela, this actually might alleviate the downside, the upside pressure from commodities, as supposedly we were going to go in there and take back assets or something. That's the narrative, whatever, to help drive down crude oil prices or keep them in check, and basically drive down the dollar, and in so doing, keep crude oil level or even lower uh, into 2026. So, my theory before this action happened that we were going into a inflationary period in commodities in a big way. But by doing this little action here, I think the theory is that we can uh, negate a lot of the commodity inflation, at least in the short term here, uh, even if the dollar does start breaking down and alleviate some of that inflationary pressure, or most of that inflationary pressure, from a geopolitical standpoint. And then you also have your other things going on there, having Russian and Chinese actions right in our backyard, with Venezuela and Cuba and Brazil. That's not good from a political arena. And this also puts more pressure on Putin to finally settle things in Ukraine, closing the door on that. So there's a lot of things going on there that that geopolitically. And I tell you right now, if I was Cuba right now, I'd be sweating bullets right there. So I mean, woo, I'd be really worried because remember, guys, they get most of their oil from Venezuela, and get Cuba's right here on our back door, and they can't rely on any help from any other from their allies from Russia or China. Yeah, it's really going to be rough for them. So, at any rate, whether you agree with Trump's action or not, this is kind of what I'm thinking is going on here in the international market space. Okay. Some themes that I'd be going on with here. So we had that last minute end of year sell off. Last 4 or 5 trading days, it was down in the markets. And after having such 3 years of massive upside in the markets, that makes all the sense in the world. And so some themes I'm thinking about here on my uh, I did a quick scan. There's probably a better scans out there and stuff. And one of them I was looking at here was Palantir. Okay. And a theme that I had going on here, guys, is that uh, they were going to be hard pressed to take losses for tax loss selling purposes. So I went and did a scan trying to find some stuff that they may have done some tax loss selling in the month of December. So I got it in the monthly time frame here, trying to see what we had on our scan for the month of December that traders were trying to get out of, to book some tax losses on on their books and stuff for the month of December. And Palantir actually shows up on my thing on the monthly time frame here. If you go down here on the lower time frame here, I thought it was going to be tax loss selling, but you have to keep in mind. Or let me go back to monthly real quick. See where we started on Palantir. Palantir started way back here in 2025, down here at 76.75. So this, in my opinion, is not tax loss selling. Somebody wanted out of Dodge for Palantir to close out the year. If you go on a 4-hour time frame, uh, look at this last 4 hours on Palantir. Somebody wanted completely out of Dodge to finish off 2025. And we're threatening breaking a critical support area to end the year. So be very mindful of that. Palantir has given us that one little last 4 hours there in 2025 is warning us that there might be a deeper correction happening here. And like I said, $76 was where the price was to finish 2024. So be very mindful this thing. And we already know that there's a couple hedge funds that are heavily short Palantir. So heads up on that. Another one on my scan here on volume. Okay, a lot of volume there to finish off Friday. Okay, that was Path. And well, what can I say on the monthly here? So if you go back to 2024, December 2024, see we closed down here, but they were getting out of this for some reason. So, that doesn't really fit my thing either. But we had a lot of volume on that one happening Friday. I don't really understand that one. Some reason they were wanting out of that. So that warns me that this thing here might be an underperformer to kick off the year. We had silver, AG, that's the silver company. Really, on the monthly time frame, you can't really notice anything right there, other than the fact that we started way down here. What was it? $5.45. So we've tripled in value on that. End of year profit taking to me looks like end of year profit taking to me on that one. But I'm trying to find some things. But here's what it looks like on the December. So we closed. Where's 12/1? Yeah. Okay. So we closed right where we opened, right at support here on for the month of December. So be very mindful here. This is support until proven otherwise. But some reason for the entire move for Majestic Silver for December got completely unwound the last 4 hours there Friday. So be very mindful of that. Looks like some end of year profit taking on that one, and not tax loss related. Okay. Tossed Incorporated, end of year profit taking. See on the 4 hour. See where we are on the monthly. Yeah. So where do we start? And we started at the year up here. This qualifies as a possible end of year. November, December. Yeah. So we did have a small loss on that. On a year-on-year basis, there was a small loss on that one. So that would qualify as somebody just want to take any profits or any losses they can for tax purposes. ServiceNow, that's another one I really looked at earlier. 25, February, December. ServiceNow was way up here. So we closed 2024 out up here near the highs. And so we closed near the year lows here so completely, money completely rolling out of that. This one here is a perfect example of tax loss selling. People, and these are the ones you have to be concerned about, them coming back in. They just wanted to get out for tax loss purposes, and they want to come back in and buy in January after they've cleared their books. So that I'm not saying these are things you want to short. These are things you have to be concerned about. That it was a short-term uh, financial. They sold for short-term financial reasons instead of the meaning for that they want to own the asset for the long term. Okay. So be very mindful of that. Crim, Salesforce. Okay, guys, 2024. Let me zoom in here so we can get into it closer here. December up here. Perfect example, tax loss selling. So ServiceNow, Salesforce, they were right at the highs of their in 2024, into 2024, and they've sold off. So we had some end of year tax loss selling. So for tax purposes on that one. Workday is another one. There you go. Yep. End of year tax loss selling. Really good candidate for that. These are all ones I have to be. You have to be concerned. You don't. You know. You might be at support right now, but like I said, end of year tax loss selling. You got to be very careful, thinking that they got fuel in the tank to the downside. Okay. Other ones here. There it is. Yep. Perfect example. Adobe. Let me double check it here. 2024. 2025. That's it. Adobe, we closed up here 442. Perfect example. Tax loss selling, end of year tax loss selling. Okay, these are all perfect examples. I don't even know that one. Dropbox. See where it's at. 2025. Perfect example. Tax loss selling. Carvana. Now that's not an example. I knew that one already. So that there was end of year profit taking on Carvana. Where's December at? It was way down here at 202. So it's doubled in price since last year. Let's go on the 4 hours, see what price action happened there at the close. Yeah, it got spanked. Uh, it got spanked. So this one you have to worry about. There might be rotation, immediate rotation out of that one. So the ones that are sold, that were way high flyers like Palantir, Carvana, these are warning us that, and maybe even AG, yeah, these are warning us of, traders are worried and they want to take the ring the register at these highs. So be very mindful of that. Is there any others down here that really stand out? Crowd, oh yeah, perfect example. Let's go back on the monthly. CrowdStrike. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to zoom in, guys. Yeah, so we're up on the year. So that was just some end of year profit taking. Wow, look at that one. So we broke a very critical support there Friday on CrowdStrike. Somebody's running for the exit on that one. Heads up on that. DocuSign. Somebody was heading to the exit on that one. Let's look on the year on year here on DocuSign. Not very good. Yeah. That one there is a perfect example into your profit taking. Uh, Zillow. That's a good example into your profit taking. Zoom. It was slightly up on the end of the year, pretty much nothing. Uh, Autodesk. So Autodesk is a little bit different here. 25. So we were flat on the year, so they were just trying. There wasn't really a tax loss there, depending on where you got in. Somebody was getting out, but it was just flat year on year. Not really a indication there. Okay. But that's just some of the ones that I had on my scan there. I thought I'd share with you guys. Some things that really stood out to me were Palantir, Carvana, and was it First Majestic Silver? They were just absolutely getting out of Dodge. The others, I'd be worried that they would come in, and they may support those early on in January, like Salesforce, Workday, Adobe. Many of these that are actually true uh, tax losses. Those are the ones that I would most worried about, that they're going to come back in and bid those up early on in January. Okay, guys. So hopefully this stuff, some things to think about in the back of your mind, and there might be better scans out there than what I just gave you. But hopefully that gives you something different to think about. If this video helps you, please like my video and comments below. I appreciate. And thanks a lot for listening to my video. And I am taking some time off from trading, but I will try to keep putting some videos out when I get a chance.